Hey, welcome back to the channel. For those who are new here, I'm Kath, and along with Stuart, my partner, and our van dog Nala, we live full time in this extra long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter. The van was converted about 4 years ago, and originally Stuart converted it to live in here alone. I met him not long after he'd moved in here, and now we live in here together with the dog. So, over the last 4.5 years, the van's had a fair amount of wear and tear, as I'm sure you can imagine, and pretty soon we're going to be doing a little bit of a renovation. Not a full rebuild, but we're just going to replace a few things and tidy them up. So we already renovated the bathroom after we got back from our Morocco trip, because yeah, that shower floor had really seen better days, but we have some other jobs to do as well. So, but while I've been talking to people about these other jobs, a lot of people, particularly those online, have said, oh, we've never really seen the inside of your van anyway, apart from in some videos and things. So now, we've never done a van tour because we lived in the van already before we started doing YouTube, and most people build the van, do a van tour video of their nice spanking pristine van, and then they move into it, and you only ever see it in the background ever again. So so that's why we've never really done one. But pre-renovation, I thought that today you might like a little look around the van with me. So I just thought I'd do the dishes first, because it's just rude, isn't it, not tidying up when you have guests. So I'm just going to tidy up a little bit around the van first, and then once I've cleaned up and had a bit of a straighten, I'm not going too mad, so you are going to have to take us as you find us. I'm going to give you a little bit of a van tour. So this is going to be a van tour with a difference, because of course it isn't a pristine van. We've been in here 4 years, which means that while I'm showing you around, maybe I'll be able to give you a little bit of insight on what it's like living with your build and the decisions you've made, and how we'll be changing things, replacing things, and we'll maybe do things differently in our next build. So we've been up at the old coal mining area in southeast Wales for the last couple of days. We've switched up a couple of park ups, and we've been having some walks and doing a little bit of foraging too. That egg's completely stuck to my non-stick pan. So it's really nice up here today, but it does mean that the van after the weekend is looking a little bit lived in. It's a few days since I did a laundry run. I'm just going to wash the dishes now. I'm just going to leave that pan sit there in the hot water and think about when it's done, actually. So I guess this is a bit of a day in the life for us. Stu's been off for a few days, so we've been off around here doing some walking, been to see some family over the weekend, and now he's back in work for a few days now until the weekend again. We're going away next week, so that'll be our next YouTube series. It's a little bit of news for you. We have the tunnel book next Thursday, I think it is, so more about that soon in our next YouTube series. So our next video will be filmed on the road, so make sure you look out for that. But yeah, a typical day, I guess. We had a bit of a lie-in this morning. Stu works late, so we try and get a bit of a lie-in in the morning. Those who followed us for a while will know that he's a truck driver. And then yeah, we got up, spent a little bit of time together this morning, potted around. Stuart washed last night's dishes, and then I made us some lunch, and now he's gone to work. And then what usually happens is I either tidy up and get the van back to a respectable level, and then I'll potter around and work this afternoon then, usually until he gets home, and then I just try and work my work around him, and then it means we can spend lots of time together then when he's not working. So but yeah, I'm just going to get on around here, and then I'll show you around the van. tidiest it's ever been, but that'll have to do. Let's show you around, but let me show you where we are first. Experienced van lifers, I'm sure, will know. Have you ever turned up in an empty car park in this place in the middle of nowhere, and it's so serene and peaceful, and then you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and it's absolutely rammed? Well, it was one of those this morning, but it's fine. It's a popular spot with wild swimmers and paddleboarders and nomads just like us, so we do really like it here. And as you can see, it's an absolutely beautiful day today. So we are here in this van. So this is an extra long wheelbase Sprinter. It's just shy of 7.5 meters long. Stuart chose it because of the length of it. Stu's over 6 foot tall, so he requires a king size bed, a full size bed, so we have that the length of the van, and it kind of takes up half the van. But do you know what, that's okay, because we like to, you know, we're full time and everything in there is full sized. So I know a lot of people value floor space, but for us to have cupboards and storage, and for me to have a desk, to have a full-size oven, a king-size bed, that was the most important thing for us. So yeah, so here it is, our little van. It's absolutely filthy. Yeah, washing it is never top of our priority list. I'm fairly sure it still has Moroccan dirt on it. So yeah, let's take a look inside. Here's Nala in the cab. She's been for a walk and she likes to relax in the cab when she gets back. It's like her space, which is really great because you can just give her a rub down, leave her in here on an old towel, and it really solves the problem of muddy dogs in the van. So really helps. And yeah, she's happily been in here for about an hour, and it's like her little bed, her little safe space. So there she is. See you in a minute. So we've got a few little cool things just at the door because we've got the dog. So this is a little shower fit in here. Oh, can't lift it up, haven't used that in a while. There we go. So lift that up there. Perfect when Nala falls in a bog, as she has previously on our trip to Scotland. And the rest of it is just in here. And then this little end fits on here, and it's connected to the hot and cold supply. There's some dog shampoo in there as well, so Nala can have a hot shower. We actually have a Truma water heater in there, which is what gives us hot water, and it'll heat 10 litres of water to 70 degrees in about 15 minutes. And the box that it keeps the water in is insulated, so once you've heated it up, you have warmish water all day, which is really handy. Our actual cold water supply comes from an underslung tank which holds 100 litres of fresh water, and then we have that attached to our whole hose attachment. And then in the back of the van we also keep two 20-litre water containers, which are sometimes full and sometimes not, which are our emergency water. So it also means that if we go somewhere to get water and we can't attach a hose, that we can fill the containers up, and then we've got a 12-volt pump which allows us to pump that through the hose into the van, so we're never ever without water. Also at the van door, Stu built in this little shoe rack here. It's rammed to say the least, but it does the job. And then there's a little box on the top here which has Nala's leads and BALLs in there. I'm not going to say that word because I'll get no peace. So let's climb up into the van. So Stu built this up. It's built up with plyboard, and it's got this little piece here which will close up in the evenings when we're in the van, and it makes it really cozy in here. I know we lose the use of the front seats. Some people like rotating seats and things, but having this bulkhead means it's much easier to keep the back of the van cool for the dog. Something really to consider if you're building a van and you're traveling with dogs. So it's just something to think about. Another little clever feature on this is Sue's popped this in here, so if you undo this one and drop it back down, makes a handy little shelf. I don't think you can see it actually, can you? Makes a handy little shelf down there, which is perfect if we've got people in the van. So you can see that there. If you need an extra work surface, just gives a little bit of extra space. And then above the bulkhead we have a cupboard. So you know, in that episode of Friends where they discover that Monica has all her junk in one cupboard at the end of the apartment, and she won't give anyone the key or let anyone see in there? Okay, well, this is that cupboard. Oh. Everything's in there. Dog food, drone, junk, spare clothes of Stu's, partially whittled bits of wood, my swimming gear. There's just everything's in there. And next we have our little bathroom. So Stu built this up as a box. It did have a sliding door, but when we renovated the bathroom after we came back from Morocco, the door did not survive the renovation, which also means we don't have a full-size mirror in here at the moment. So Stu's going to put 4 smaller mirrors here so that I have a mirror for when I'm in the van. So, and yeah, and here's our bathroom. We have this little hanging thing, which is just good for storage. Just take it off when we get in the shower. It's just on a hook, and it can come out of the shower room, but it does clunk about a bit when we drive. So we've been looking at upgrading it, and we've been testing out this one here, which is from IKEA. We just bought one to see how they hold, because they don't clunk about so much when we drive. So it's been up about a week, and Stuart's hit his head on it I think about a dozen times so far, so we'll see how that goes. So, and then we've also got hooks and things up here, vents in the ceiling, lights. All the lights in the van work on this touch system, which is really handy. And then the hook's handy because in the winter we have the diesel heater, if you can see, just pumped in here behind the toilet, and it warms this entire room. It warms this entire room, which means that all our wet and muddy clothes and wet stuff and swimming gear and things can all just hang up in here. And we turn the diesel heater on. You can even shut the vents for the rest of the van if you want to, although we are going to have to replace the door in here because at the moment we're using a shower curtain. So but yeah, here's the shower. I mean, I'm fully standing in here now, so as you can tell, it's not huge, but it definitely does the job. So I know a lot of people have the should I have a shower in my van dilemma. If you're full-time, absolutely. I can't imagine how much it would detriment my life to go and have to try and find a shower every couple of days or however often you want a shower. Yeah, because we like to be off-grid. I mean, if you're van lifing in the city and you're a member of a gym, maybe that would be easy for you, but no, for us, we definitely use the shower and we're very, very glad to have it. It certainly does the job anyway. No complaints here. It's a nice cozy little shower room and it works perfectly, and the fact that it doubles as a drying room for us as full-timers is really handy. So that's the bulkhead and the shower, and then as we come around into the van, this pretty much shows the rest of the van. So here's our kitchen area here, a full-size king-size bed which takes up a lot of the van, but it's really nice to have a full-size bed with a proper mattress. And then there's a bench seat here, and then there's a little desk here. So lots of cupboards and space, max air fan in the ceiling. I'll just show you the kitchen next. To where I was when I was washing up. So yeah, here's our oven here. We have 4 rings, full-size rings, not quite as big as in a house, but it's perfectly good. And then as we drop down here, we've got a grill here, and then down here, probably needs cleaning, sorry, is our oven. I'm not sure how well you can see it now, it's a bit dark in here, but we keep our oven trays in here, and then that saves us space. And yeah, full 2-shelf oven, not quite as big as a home oven, but plenty enough to cook a roast chicken or a tray of roast veg or something. So we wouldn't be without it. And then just at the bottom here is this little storage part, which if you open it up, we keep all our pots and pans and things like that down there. The whole work surface is one entire piece of wood with a hole cut out of it, and then Stu kept the hole and then that makes a lid for the top, which makes it gives you a bit of extra work surface when you're cooking and things. And then there's a pretty big full-sized sink in here. It's probably full of suds, sorry, because I just washed up, but yeah, you get the idea anyway. So, and then we have hot and cold tap, mixer tap, and then that has 2 settings that allow us to switch it back and forth, and a long that comes out, which is handy if you need a bucket of water or something like that. So, and then we've got our chopping board, a little bit of kitchen work surface, not a lot really, but you know, we manage. We've got the little desk and table as well. All my tea and coffee stuff is up here, washing up liquid and things. And then this is one of the areas we're going to be looking at changing when we renovate the van. So this splashback here is, instead of being wood and just this little piece here, we're going to tile this whole splashback. This is going because it doesn't have a lot in there anyway. I'm going to put a little spice rack up here, and yeah, they're just some small things. And then these cupboards, Stu's going to rebuild so that they come out a bit further, so that they're a bit bigger. At the moment, as you can see, herbs and spices everywhere, so if we can get a spice rack up, we'll be able to use that cupboard for something else. And then this cupboard here has our cutlery, knives, things like that. There's a magnetic knife board at the back, and then there's some olive oil, soy sauce and things at the corner. So all the cupboards have these little catches which keep them in place when we're driving, and then if they're left open, which they usually are when we're parked up, Stu put little magnets in the ceiling here, and they just catch, which saves you having to have these brackets on the side to keep them open. So very handy. But yeah, they could do with being a bit bigger. Cables are a constant problem when you're in a van. We've just got some of these little magnets here, and then we hook the cables on them. It's not ideal, but I don't know, apart from channeling them in, which I'm not sure how you're going to do because software and devices update all the time. I'm not really sure what the answer is, to be honest. So if anyone has one of those, we've got some electric supply up here. All of our plugs are USB, apart from our one that's connected to the inverter. We're going to change a couple for USB-C because, as we were saying, technology updates and things are changing. So and then on the other side of the van we have the rest of the kitchen here. This one is Stu's snack cupboard mostly, but yeah, this is just dried stuff in here, tin foil, that kind of thing as well. And then this one here has all our plates, and there's some little pieces of wood in between which stop the plates banging together when we're driving. And then we usually put a little plastic plate in between all the other plates, and then that helps with the road noise as well. And then other things, sauce and sugar, and there's all sorts in there, my herbal tea and that kind of thing. So again, all of these have this magnet that sticks into the ceiling and the little catch on the front. So there's a little light under here, and then here is this where we keep our poles that wind our porch out, because we've got a fiamma awning. And then down here in the bottom part of the kitchen, so the cooker's here, and then we have this cupboard here. So if we open this up, it's just got a bin on the inside, loads of kitchen junk and cleaning stuff, and our grey water which collects the waste from our sink. So, and then this is our fridge freezer, pretty big, 80 litre Dometic. It's got a freezer compartment at the top which gives us ice creams in the summer. We tend to turn it off in the winter because electric can become a bit of a problem. So, which I guess leads us on to our next thing, what runs the van. So we have a 460 amp hour lithium battery. It's underneath the front seat. It's pretty big. It's about as big as a single battery as you can get from a van, and yeah, we can use it all year. It's lithium, so you can run the whole battery down to about 10% if you want to, and yeah, and we charge that via 2 methods. So one method is 400 watts of solar panels that are on the van roof, and the other method is a battery to battery charger, and that charger is connected to our alternator in the van, and it pumps in power into the battery when we are running the engine or when we are driving. Yeah, it's okay. Even lithium and even that much power does creak a bit in the winter. You get a couple of weeks of really bad days, and if you're not driving very much or traveling every day, it can be a bit of a challenge, but we manage all the same. And then our gas cooker and our hot water is run by a gas system, and we have a gas loaf system, which is our big bed, and then underneath our big bed is a big garage, and in that garage boxed in is our gas loaf system. And there we've got a fitting on the outside of the van which allows us to fill it on the pump at LPG. It costs us about £13 every 10 weeks. All of our electric is free, obviously, although the batteries and the solar panels are not cheap, certainly lithium batteries anyway. But yeah, all of our electric is self-generated. We don't run a generator alongside the van or anything like that, so the gas is the only thing we pay for. And yeah, it works out at about somewhere between £1 and £1.50 a week, depending on how often we're using it. We use more gas in the winter. I tend to cook bigger meals, and cooking a whole meal in the oven in the evening means that often I don't need to turn the diesel heater on, because the gas oven warms the whole van, so you get to kill two birds with one stone, and why wouldn't you? And yes, as for where we stay, how we stay warm, we do that through the diesel heater. So earlier on I showed you how that pumps into the bathroom, that makes it a drying room, and then down here on the front of the bench seat there's another outlet that fills the van. So the diesel heater is again underneath the bed in our garage. It's all boxed in safely. It's exhausted outside the van, so you don't need to worry about carbon monoxide, and it is connected to our main fuel tank. And then while we're down here, Stu, this is probably the most recent addition to the van, I think. Stu attached this little table, quilts under it here. So I put that up, and this is now where I work during the day. So this is my desk. We've got one of these on the end of the kitchen as well. These little brackets are perfect. You just press the button and they go up and down, so you don't require a table leg or anything. So if we use this, it's an extra surface for serving when we're eating dinner. I tend to sit here and eat, and I work here during the day. And then here's where we have our bench seat. There's my little desk that comes up. Down here is the diesel heater fixing, and then this entire thing lifts up, and then all of this underneath here is also more storage. And hello from the bedroom. So we have in here a full-size king-size bed with a 2000 pocket sprung mattress. It's our third mattress in the van, and we just went mad this time, and we went full quality, and no regrets at all. We absolutely love it. This is the back door here, and yeah, this is how I lie in my bed. We both have these little storage shelves on the side of our beds, and then we have a little lamp behind there. I don't really use mine, to be honest. It's got little hairbands hooked on it and things. And then just above our bed we have these nets here, which we just keep junk in. They're all a bit over full at the moment. These are the mirrors that Sue's going to put up in the bathroom for me. They're just up there at the moment because it's the only place you can put them where they won't fall over when we drive and potentially break. So yeah, and then all down the side of the bed we have this little shelf which has got little storage baskets, which is quite untidy at the moment, but is usually in various states of tidiness. Sue's contact lenses and bits and bobs down there, the speaker. It's basically everything that doesn't have somewhere else to live in the van. So, and then we have a little window here on both sides of the van. They're pretty burglar proof, opening from the inside like this. And they're just over the bed. And then we have these little blackout blinds. So Stu bought an entire blackout blind from IKEA for £5, and then he cut it up into smaller pieces, and he did the window, the big window that's on the sliding door, and these two smaller windows. There you go. These are something else that I'll need replacing when the van's renovated, but we're going to go on the same kind of style. So you can see after 4 years they're starting to wear thin, but certainly not complaining for a £5, and they are blackout as well, so they keep all the light out. Yeah, 3 windows for a £5, you can't go wrong. They used to strap back with a little clip, but they're broken, which is one of the reasons we want to replace them, but they sit just fine like this anyway, so it really isn't a problem. And then if I sit over here, which is where sometimes you can sit to relax, we have our TV here, 12-volt TV. We don't watch it. This is going, it's going to go completely. We're going to sell it. Anybody want to buy a 12-volt TV? And we're going to build an extra cupboard in between these two smaller cupboards here for storage, because we just don't watch this. So this little cupboard here is where Stu keeps his clothes. Proper minimalist wardrobe. This is basically all of Stuart's clothes. And then this is, you know, all men have one of those drawers and it's got everything in it. Yeah, this is Stu's drawer. So we'll leave that there. Little fire extinguisher up here. We have one on the other end of the kitchen as well, just to be safe. And of course, the main advantage of having a king-size bed is that you get a full-sized garage underneath it. So let's just take a little look at this. So before we get to that, these here, which are accessible from the inside, from the back of the bed, this is where I keep my clothes. Yeah, it works perfectly for me. So all my tops and underwear are on that side, and then all of my trousers are rolled up here in here. And then here's our garage. So here's our chocks that we use to keep the wheels up if we're not on even surfaces. Here's our 12-volt pump and some other stuff that we use. And then here, take a look at utilising every inch of space. Here is our garage. So here's the back of our bed here. And then we're just about to do a run down to we rent a container, so we're just about to do a run down there. So there's a bag of clothes in there that need to go into the container. This is basically an extension of our dry larder. So when I do multi-buys and things, we just leave them here in the boot. Extra bottles of water, my little foraging basket, huge sack of dog food because it doesn't all need to be in the van, some workwear for Stu, recycling and cardboard, which I'm going to drop off later today. We do try and recycle even though we live in a van. And then just here you can see our Moroccan gas bottle, but if you look behind that, that's our boxed in system, and that's for our gas, and it's completely boxed in and then it's on copper pipes. So, and then this here is plugged in, and this leads to our router, which is up here, and then we have a connector on the roof there somewhere, and then that connects to the internet and allows us to have internet in the van. So, and then there you go. So that's our garage. It's quite a big space. Store lots in there. When Stu goes kiting, he puts his buggies in there. Yeah, usually when we go down to the container, it ends up being about half full in there, and then over the time things build up in here that we don't need and intended on going back to the container, and they go in the boot, and that's where they stay. So, and that's where we are. And here's our very long van, extra long wheelbase. Here's our little outlet for our Truma heater, and then down here is our little cutout for our toilet, which comes for emptying our toilet, and then our little van navigation branding. And then as we go around this side, can you see it? Our FEMA awning is up there, which rolls right out over the van. And then our sliding door, which has the big window, and our only big window that we have in the van, which allows us to keep the van cool and perfect for when the dog is in here. So there's a helicopter over. Let me go into the van. It's a bit noisy, isn't it? So yeah, so we just have the two small windows at the back, this skylight in the roof here. Sorry, I've got a tray of herbs on there drying, but it's got a little blackout blind that pulls that over as well. And just our front window in the front, which allows us to then close all the blackout blinds, shut the bulkhead, and it keeps it cool in here for the dog. If we keep the max air fan running as well, so which also lets some light in. But yeah, it can be a bit dark in here, but it's just what you need in the summer when vans really are hot boxes. So yeah, that's how we like to have it. So that's our little van tour. We're off away next week, as we said already, so it's just 9 days now until we leave the country. So we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe down below, because it makes a huge difference to us. And our next video will be filmed on the road as we take the tunnel out of the UK with the plan of chasing autumn around Northern Europe.